Welcome back to the Clean Slate Video Club. I almost said podcast. Podcast is dead.
What is that?
What's a podcast? We're a club.
Exactly.
Comment down below. Did you guys watch Night of the Hunter? This is our second Noirvember title. If you've seen this movie before, let me know what you think about it. First watch for myself. I think for you as well, right, Daniel?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I wanted to watch this, added it to the list because it's a classic, and I think we've avoided some of the noir classics because I had my reservations. But no, this movie is fantastic. I think it's the first film I've seen from this director, Charles Laughton. And yeah, it's a cool movie. Let's hear that logline.
All right. A self-proclaimed preacher marries a gullible widow whose young children are reluctant to tell him where their real dad hid the $10,000 he'd stolen in a robbery. How much is $10,000 in 1955?
It's got to be a lot, right? But also the director of this is his only movie.
Really?
So I guess it is the first and last from this director for me. No,
One hit wonder.
Interesting. That's interesting. And it was initially not received well, which is crazy. But for me, myself, I received this movie very well. I think this is an awesome movie. It is based on a novel from 1953. This movie has a lot of cool elements to it. I mean, one, a pastor serial killer is cool enough in itself. And his tattoos, which are kind of iconic, I think, at this point. One says love on the knuckles. One says hate, which is cheesy but cool at the same time. Robert Pattinson would play this guy in the remake. We all know he would. Or Timothée. Timothée is the little boy. No, but this movie is really cool. It has an amazing visual style. I think the black and white filming in this is gorgeous, to be honest. There are several. I started watching this at work, I know, and I would pause it because I would be working, and I'd look over. I'm like, this movie is so pretty, and so I ended up watching it at home instead because it's gorgeous. The scene where they're in the car, she's in the car. I'll just be vague. There's a scene where there's a car underwater and a woman's in the car, and like, I don't know how they filmed that, but for the time, it looks so cool, and almost like supernatural kind of vibes to it. It doesn't fully lean into supernatural territory, but it has that vibe
like some
throughout.
Dreamy. Yeah,
and I mean, I guess we have like Southern Gothic horror is kind of a thing that's a part of this. So it's noir, Southern Gothic. There's like scripture throughout, so like Bible verses and then weird singing throughout. One of the coolest moments is when they're kind of like holed up in this home, and there's this old lady who's like kind of took in these kids, and she's like a real like actual Christian believer versus this pastor serial killer guy, and they're both like having like a sing off of sorts, which is, it sounds stupid, but in the moment I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So overall, I kind of loved this movie. I think the themes are really interesting. I don't usually like movies where the kids end up being main characters, but I don't know. I like the little boy. I think he did a decent job. That's kind of how kids act in movies, old movies anyways. But for the time, I think he did a great job. The pastor guy is really creepy throughout the whole film.
Robert Mitchum.
Yes. And I think it's a great movie, and I really don't know how they were able to pull off. That is so annoying. Can you hear that? I live in LA, folks. I'm so sorry. I just think for the time period, this movie is really creative. It's really artsy. You could throw an A24 logo on this and people would buy it. So if you haven't seen it, you should.
Fun fact, this main character, Robert Mitchum, is in Cape Fear.
This is very much a Cape Fear. Fear is such a similar movie. The remake of Cape Fear or the OG?
OG.
Okay, which is another from the same time period then. But you could totally see Scorsese ate this up and put his remake of Cape Fear. You can tell he loved this movie.
Yeah. Anyway, some things that I liked. I loved Mitchum's performance in this. I think it's one of the coolest villain in like in this time period in history. Something I did look up was that a movie like this wasn't being made, and I think that's possibly due to why it wasn't like very well received. Is because movies like this,
so unique.
It's very unique, and it does carry two different like tones really between like kind of like what you were saying was like a gothic horror, or and then it switches into like a kid's fable, which it's like
it has like it's weird. It's like folk story at the end.
Yeah, and so it was funny because I kind of like at some points I thought I was like watching like Leave It to Beaver or Andy Griffith's Show.
There's some like funny jokes in this movie. Even I'm like, and okay. Like the guy drinking to go like talk to him.
Yeah,
like why is that in this movie? We just saw a woman get murdered.
Right, and so kind of like what you were saying, the cinematography in this movie is so good, especially when it is in black and white. It was just like I don't know, it was. Like the silhouettes and then the underwater shot of the mother, kind of like what you said, it was just like, it was so good, especially for the time.
All the shadow work too is like,
yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So, and also this movie is like kind of scary. Like it has these moments where you're just like, oh, and I don't know. I just really, this movie took me by surprise. I mean, I had very like zero expectations going into it. Right. But like, at the end of the day, I loved the difference between like the good versus evil, and then like religion as performance, kind of like that idea of how he does, you know, being like when you have kind of like what you're saying, a real Christian versus this guy who is legitimately just straight evil and trying to
he uses it to harm others, basically. Like the way he treats the mom is awful, and then like she's like brainwashed basically too. This movie, you could write some really interesting papers about this movie. Like there's so many different angles you could analyze, but
were you gonna finish that? Did you finish that thought?
That's my whole thought. I do want to say the ending is very wholesome, which took me for a surprise. I was like, oh, it's kind of cute. I even teared up a little. This is sweet. I feel like this is a movie my mom would watch at the end.
Yeah, so
not the beginning, but the ending.
I looked up like just like a couple of people's like thoughts on this movie, and you know, I always read like some people's reviews on it just to see what they're all thinking. And some people related this movie to like an ancestor of Cape Fear, which is already like, you know, obvious. It's also Mitchum.
Yeah, it's obvious.
And then There Will Be Blood. I don't know if
I could see
I don't know. And then The Babadook, which I thought was really interesting.
His costume.
Yeah.
And the silhouette of it. What?
That's I thought it was kind of cool.
No, that's cool. And then the way his bow tie or his tie is really unique. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
So
also,
those
Judy
are a couple
sucks.
things that I looked. What?
Judy in this?
Yeah.
Freaking that one girl that's trying to hook up with everyone.
Yeah, literally.
She sucks. Also this is another one that's like clearly affected by like following the rules, where like any violence is quickly like we're not gonna see it, but it almost made it creepier. Like the subtlety of that I think is really good. Yeah, it's almost a horror film, really.
Yeah, it kind of is. But I mean, especially too when like there's like the lullaby sequences. I don't know. Did you mention that already?
No. Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
I mean, I was just kind of thinking how they're like creepy. Yeah, but then they're also like just very intriguing all at once. And that's kind of where I was like, at the same time, kind of equating it to a horror movie, is because like there's some things that are just so creepy, but like we get that like kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is, it's kind of that thrill that it's bringing you. So I don't know, I just thought that it was like, it was different and it was bold in a new way, especially like reading based off of like what this was doing for the time period, this movie.
Yeah,
I thought
it sounds like it was quite, for those that did see it, sounds like it was controversial.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting.
But controversial now in film is just like applauded.
Just make it disgusting or something. I mean, people thought this was like inappropriate, like religiously, because how dare you make a pastor be a villain? But you know, if you look at some headlines, it's not that uncommon. But
yeah.
If Joel Osteen's a serial killer, that'd be a sick movie.
Actually, that
Night
really
of the
would
Joel.
Be. Night of the Living Joel Osteen. Okay, any things that you didn't like?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. Mainly the overacting is a little tough sometimes. And even, I was trying to defend this movie because Alyssa was watching part of it with me, and she's like, "Why do they always like in old movies make the villain so overacting with like when he's like fake crying?" And she's like compared to like in the cartoons when like the big bad wolf is crying.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's probably holdover from like vaudeville or like stage performing. Could be a directing issue though, because there's like some contemporary films probably where the overacting is toned back, but it's very common in these, so you get used to it. I think I'm Stockholmed
you think
a
about
little
it too. Filming was just different back then. Like you weren't spending as much time as you do now filming for like one scene compared to
Probably
like what
more,
they did back then. You think
I
so?
think they might. Well, because shooting on film, you're not going to do practice shots as much. You're just going to shoot when you have the chance to.
Yeah.
Or, like you're going to do a lot more practice shots without actually filming. Yeah. So I don't know how much you have to work with on the editing tape, at least for cheaper films.
That's what I was kind of meaning. Yeah, I was going to say.
You might only have the one performance and that's it, and you're like, oh.
All right, this is what we got, type of deal.
Let's do it. Cut it.
But it's also like that idea too. Like I think in modern acting right now, especially like in some of the books that you read from like even people based off of Robert Redford and Stella Adler, like these people coined the new style of acting, which was like getting away from
the
stage
style.
Yeah, and it becomes more about inner self instead of playing outward. It's playing inward, which it's like I have my issues with that.
Yeah, I was going to say that's interesting. Because if you think about it, we do praise performances now that are like very outward sometimes. Like very over the top.
Like what?
We don't see it as much anymore. I'm just thinking like every time someone plays like a villain in a movie. Or Heath Ledger in The Joker. That's very over the top. Which is awesome. But I kind of feel like maybe that's part of the reason. Like, if The Joker was subtle, would it be as effective? Or as
I guess you can say it too. Like specifically, I always think of Viola Davis, right? Viola Davis is a classic outward expressing actress.
No, she's fantastic. Yeah,
and she's fantastic, but at the same time, like it becomes almost like this like plug and play system where like you can tell she expresses but holds it in. It's like kind of this like duality of trying to do both, and then and so I don't really love Viola Davis as much. I loved her when she first came out, and then it just
depends on the role for me. Yeah,
it's just got fatigue of Viola Davis fatigue.
What about because I think some movies actors are maybe almost too subtle.
Yeah,
to where you can't read them, or you have like stuff like a Marvel movie where it's like they're either they have no emotion. They're just there,
or everything's just out on their,
or everything is over the top. Yeah, and you're like, okay, Pedro,
chill out. All right, I got it, dude. Pedro Pascal. Anyway, I was gonna say that, and then some of the early dialogue seemed a little bit like the pacing stilted. Was just and it was stiff too.
First dad, that whole the intro scene does not work at all.
Yeah,
that. It throws you into the movie, and you're like, okay, I hope this is good. But it is an amazing movie. I mean, this might make it onto my top 50. I've been working on this list.
Yeah.
And I have 2 films on it, so this is going on the list, I think.
Some people, like, I read somewhere that some people also criticized it because of the two-tonal, like, themes
or multiple movies in it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I kind of liked the differences that it had, like in terms of just like the kids' viewpoint and just their like I guess take on everything that's going on. I thought it almost made it more so like heavier stakes to me. And
I agree.
I don't know. I thought it was really good. I don't know if it's. I want to give it a rewatch. Just to like kind of appreciate it more.
Was maybe more intense.
Maybe
that final showdown I think could have been cooler, but
I
don't know. I really loved it though. Cool movie.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. It took me by surprise. I definitely liked it better than like Indemnity, but I think the more and more I watch some of these movies, I like taking like I don't know. I just see myself driven to more movies that are stylized like this, like
It's growing on you.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Interesting. Well, the next one we're watching is a neo-noir.
Is nothing like that. I don't know about these. Neo-noir.
Because noir film typically is one time period, is what people kind of try to argue. So anything after that, people call neo-noir, or usually it'll have a lot of neon sometimes, so that's common. Or technically Blade Runner is like a neo-noir. But yeah, we have another one that's coming up. Which one are we doing? Let's do the two? Nice Guys.
Okay. That's kind of what I was hoping for.
I think it's going to be a fun movie. Daniel's never seen it. I watched it once in college, and it changed my life.
Okay, I watched it once, but I was like barely...
He didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. It was on. I just didn't really pay attention. It was just
on, yeah.
But, yeah, I'm excited because Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, I've heard this movie is hilarious. So I'm really excited to see.
What happened to Russell Crowe?
He got fat. I think.
Good for him.
I think he weighed out of casting roles.
You're too big
leading
to be Gladiator.
I mean, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't in Gladiator.
He wasn't in the new one. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyway, guys. Well, that is what is this movie? The Night of the Hunter. It's on Prime as well. So go right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go check it out. It's a really good film. I think it's an easy watch. And it was pretty enjoyable just to like kind of break up, especially, you know, what's funny is when I watched this, it was like super cloudy outside. So it just like kind of gave it even more.
Yeah, it's
like,
right? That's why you watch it in November.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, guys, so that is that. If you want and you missed it, go check out Double Indemnity that we released last week. Is another noir film. We got one more and then a real versus real before we jump into our Christmas season. We're not doing any Christmas movies, but it is a Christmas season.
We're doing movies that feature snow and blood.
So practically Christmas. Men. Everyone's Christmas around that time. Anyway, guys, so go follow us on all of our socials. Go like, subscribe, give us 5 stars wherever you can find a podcast. And we will see you next week for the final film of Noirvember. And yeah, as always, guys, be kind, rewind, and we will see you members next week. Peace.
Peace.